Okay, so there's Chad is online with us right now. So that is one of my friends on the reviewers table. Awesome dude, Mech Beard. So yeah. So today I have a wonderful guest, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.
Or I wouldn't either.
And neither would Nichole. So this is my dad. His name is Andrew Peters. So he is Andrew Howard Peters. I am Andrew James Peters. So we are not junior and senior. But I have been Andy Peters, little Andy, for all of my life, even though I've now probably taken a bigger belly on than him. But we got Tyson on. Thank you guys for joining. So how are you guys? How are you, Nichole?
I'm a little under the weather, but I also live in a state with a lot of allergy pollutants at this time of year. So,
well, yes, you know.
So then it's like, do I have COVID or do I have allergies? We'll just get right to it. That's the fun thing about living here.
Well, I was thinking the same thing. So I got, I've had a sore throat, and I'm just like, please don't let it be, because the only person that's been going out is Christy. Because she has to work her job, but she's not working with anybody anymore. So she was working with techs coming in out of the street because she's an essential worker, and she was wearing her mask. But now nobody comes in the office, and she's just doing office job, and nobody's coming in. They've had to be kind of really low. So
okay. And is this like essential that she has to be at the office?
She does. Is it just for company it's essential that she has to be working for them, and it's just easier for her to go into the office because it's only her and her mom, which they both live here. It's not purposely bearded. So I thought that me and Nichole have been talking to my dad for some time about the COVID pandemic, and you've given us some really good information about the pandemic, especially about the multipliers and things like that you've been monitoring. I would love to hear more about what you've been researching, what you've been looking into, and what you've been telling us every day, to keep everybody kind of in the factual place, because you've been doing the research.
Well, I started doing my analysis back in March 22nd. And I used the data from March 22nd and March 21st. That's a Saturday. And what I figured out is to do multipliers. So you take, in the case of March 22nd, I think it was like 104 cases. I imagine 104 cases back then. And I divided it by the number of cases on Saturday. And I came up with, for the state of Arizona, I came up with 1.054. Now let me explain. If we were at 2, that means every day we'd be doubling. That would be bad. Don't do that.
Right.
1.0 means no new infections. We want 1.0. Yes, we do. But we're not getting it. So I was horrified to see that the next day, on Tuesday, the 23rd, the state of Arizona had gone up to, what was it? No, I'm sorry, it went from 1.46 to it was 1.54 on Tuesday. But Maricopa County was 1.69. Now that's almost 2. That's scary. That means like, oh my God, this is like super steep slope. And you don't want steep slopes. You want to flatten the curve, but you don't want these, exponential graphs going straight up. That means we're in real bad trouble. But thankfully, people on their own, before our Doug Ducey, our governor, decided to make it official, people on their own started staying home. The word got out, stay home. So I stayed home. When I mean stayed home, I mean I stayed home. We didn't get out of the house. We ordered our food in by Instacart.com. We ordered Sparkletts water via Costco, because I tried to get water by myself, but a nice friendly man was helping me, take my last 2 jugs in. I don't want anybody nearby. That's that whole point. Avoid people. Here's the point I want to make. It's really important. You get a double payoff when you stay at home. Healthy people don't get infected by unhealthy people outside. Advantage number 1. Advantage 2, if you are asymptomatic positive, you don't go out and you don't get anybody sick out there. you get to get sick because you're going to be sick in a couple of days, even though you're not showing right now. And you need to get over it, and that's great. Hopefully you'll survive. That's a double payoff. But as soon as Easter came up, people started breaking it. Oh, well, you know. And people in California were going to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Florida just opened up their beaches. Yay, Florida. Is that satirical? Yes, it was.
Hey, Bam.
And so here's what happened. In the state of Arizona, it went down to 1.3, 1.1, then 1.09. I was getting all, woo, this is great, 1.09, closer to 1.0. And then it got down to 1.6, woohoo, 1.05. And it got down a few days after Easter Sunday. It got down, I think, on a Tuesday, because Easter was on the 12th. And we got down to 1.0278. And that's really exciting. And Maricopa County got down to 1.01. Now, we want that 1.01 because next is 1.05 and 1.04 and finally 1.0. 1.0, in other words, if you take like a big, huge number times 1, it's still that same number, meaning no new infections. Now, it's important to understand why we don't want any more infections or small amount of infections, is now we can track them. We're getting enough tests that we can track them. Now, we have 3 kind of tests going on here. The big test is the ID Now by Abbott Laboratories. Hold on. And that's like $4,000 or so, to buy, but they stick swab in your mouth. And it's the same thing that I went to the office for to get strep throat. When you guys were young, they had that.
Yeah.
And they also have the M2000. They swab you, they put it in there. And now the COVID-19 test that goes with ID Now, made by Abbott Laboratories, takes 5 minutes to find out if you're positive, and to make sure that you're negative, 13 minutes. Now, LabCorp has come out with a take it to home test. You put it in your nasal cavity, stick it back in the tube, and send it away. Now, that's the one with most promise because you don't have to go anywhere. It comes to you, and you send it away. It may take a little longer, but you're going to get more people. We have 327 million people here that we need to test. And those people who think that just testing a few people is going to work, they don't know science. They don't know biology. They don't know much.
Well, and then this is what BAM is saying. So BAM is saying that they're actually opening Georgia. So basically, Georgia's going off. So is Iowa.
So is Tennessee. But they're saying that schools are coming, or he said that schools are opening and teachers have to go back this next week. That's crazy.
Have to report back in, right?
Well, so let me tell you why it's crazy. And I'm sorry, there's going to be a little bit of detail here. I want to talk about a little town called Vo, V-O. And after that, I'm going to talk about New Zealand, but I'm going to talk about Vo first. Vo has a distinction of having the first death in Italy. But what they did is they made a test at the time. They did an experiment. And they had enough tests, and they tested everybody. That's 3,300 people. Healthy or sick or whatever, they tested everybody. 3% came back being positive. But half of those 3% didn't have symptoms. And those are the dangerous ones. I'm going to keep on repeating that. Those are the dangerous ones. The reason why this virus is so bad is because you have those hidden people that are spreading it. Regular flus, you have to get sick and show that you're sick before you spread it. But not this, baby. Oh, no. It spreads its little jewels all over the place, and you're not showing. You don't even know yourself you're sick until about 2 to 5 days later. I'm going to say this again, 2 to 5 days later. And then they get sick. Too late. How many people do they come in contact with? And all you have to do is breathe on people. You don't have to cough on them or sneeze on them. Just breathe on them. And the 6 feet rule is 15 feet, more like 20. You can get it if a jogger goes right past you on the trail. That's how dangerous this thing is. It's called R0. R0 is how fast can this thing spread? It spreads fast. For every person that gets sick, 4 people will catch it versus the flu, it's 1 to 1. One person gets it, he spread normally just to one person. That's the R0. The R0, this crazy virus, is 3 to 4, more likely 4. So now Vo, so what happened to Vo? After 3 weeks, 90% of the infections are gone. Get it? 90% by doing everybody. If we did everybody, 327 million people, in 3 weeks, we would have 90% of the infections gone. Wouldn't that be cool? Oh no, we had to give off $2 trillion to people that I don't personally need, and most people may need it, but what they really need are those tests. We need to test everybody. You know, we don't want you to have to go to a drive-through or out in the parking lot. You know, get the LabCorp, but do it. Make the test. Because what happened to Vo after that? They had 0.3% left over, and then they did another round and made those people go home. And guess what? None. New Zealand did the same thing. They were on it. They closed their borders, and this lady was strict. I mean, when she meant stay at home, she wasn't Wilson-Dixie.
Yeah.
And people were intelligent, and they obeyed her because they knew she was right. New Zealand has only had 41 cases. Maybe 1 or 2 deaths. That's it. And all this time, Taiwan did the same thing. They said, "Oh my God, we've had SARS back there in 2003, something like that. Oh, we're ready." And South Korea did it. They had a hard time wrangling, but right now, by the end of May, they're going to have maybe 12 infections. China, yeah, they still got some problems here, but they got up to 80,000 and they stopped. They stopped the infections. Now the asymptomatic positives are back. But now I want to talk to you about the most important case of all, Hong Kong. Well, why Hong Kong? Because Hong Kong did really well too. They tracked it. They did all this good stuff. They closed their borders. Boom, 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 right? Except they got cocky. Does that sound familiar? And they started going back out again. They got the third wave. And guess what? These second and third waves are worse than the first waves. If we let these kiddies go back to school and let these businesses go back to where they were, you're going to have such hell on this earth that you have not seen. Because one country does it, one governor does it, another governor does it. We've got these, what can I say, these misguided governors. See, that was nice. See, I could say that.
They don't know that we had a talk with our dad before.
Yeah, that was nice. What I really wanted to say was blank, 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 blank. But I've been told to be nice, so I'm going to be nice.
I told him.
But you all know what I'm really saying, don't you?
Try to not be political.
Yeah, try not to be political. Yeah, well, did anybody guess which side I'm on?
The saving lives side.
That's right.
The saving lives side. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But anyway, so I want everybody to remember Vo, because New Zealand did Vo. Mm-hmm. They tested everybody. They tested a lot. They shut the place down. They controlled it. I would like to go to New Zealand, because our governor, I'll be nice, kind of, is now opening up. That was somebody behind you. That
was James walked by.
That's good. Wait, who's that guy? Somebody in my room. Oh my God. Well,
oh my God. Yeah, this is it's live. I don't know that you want to be on it. You can say hi. Don't just quit.
Hold on. You'd know this shirt. Where is it?
Oh yeah. Do you recognize that shirt, Dad?
No, really. No, I have no idea. Like I wasn't around when MIDI was started.
Hey, Dad, that was a long time ago.
Yes, back there before the dinosaurs. Let's get it straight.
Oh, I thought the dinosaurs made it. I was confused.
No. Pre-dinosaurian. I'm doggone proud of it. We're talking about, hairy beast with 4 legs that can lay eggs.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are putting together the Moog.
Yeah, right. And they had,
what is it?
it
Mod,
was kind of hard to play the Moog with pause,
it's like
and maybe a little pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have
Anyway,
questions, Andy?
back to our subject.
Oh, wait, Dad, we should also preface that people ask questions, but you and I sometimes can see them. But if you're on the YouTube,
I can't see them.
Yeah.
If you got a question, go ahead.
Oh, they're opening up before they can't afford to keep people on unemployment. That's why they're opening up Georgia.
So they would be bankrupt. They would be bankrupt. I mean, it's
this. My dad would do this. He would give a silly ass smile before he took his hat off with the big nut.
No, but that's probably a truth of why they're doing it.
All right. So here's the trade-off. It's a very simple trade-off. You get to go back to work, and people get to die. How can I say that any nicer? I'll say it again. Yes, these people struggling. And by the way, I am sympathetic. Don't get me wrong. But you going back to work means people will die.
Yeah.
And you mean the third wave. You're inviting a third wave because Hong Kong got its third wave. That was worse.
And that was right when we got our first wave. We already knew about that.
Let me share something with you that I went through day to day doing my daily multipliers every day. I saw that Easter Sunday was coming. I said, oh, no, I know people. They're going to go visit people. They're going to go visit people, and people are going to visit them. And they're going to spread this virus. So I said, well, how do I track this? Well, it won't be immediate. As a matter of fact, April 12th, which is Easter Sunday, came and went. And about Tuesday, 2 days after, that's when we got the 1.01 in Maricopa County and the 1.02 in the state of Arizona. I said, whoa! But I said, they went and saw their relatives and their friends and took the little kids with them. And I'm not trying to put down people for wanting to participate in Easter Sunday. I love Easter too. However, this virus doesn't care.
No.
It doesn't care at all.
No.
And it said, oh, goody, more victims. So the relatives that you visited, you just got sick. And maybe a couple of them died, unfortunately, because that's happening. There were like 3 or 4 ladies in one family. They had a group together, a group meeting, and 4 people died.
Yeah.
That's what you're messing around with. So Tuesday went by, and I was going, oh, good. And then Wednesday, it started climbing. I said, oh, no, here we go. Why? Because it takes 2 days after you got it. When you got it on Easter Sunday, let's say, within 2 to 5 days, you're asymptomatic until finally you show it. Most asymptomatic people will eventually show it. It takes 2 to 5 days on average. Sure enough, they were starting to show it. And by Thursday, we were up to 1.09. 1.09? Oh, man, we got down to 1.01. We were almost there. Yesterday, I haven't done today's, but yesterday we were at 1.06. I said, and for instance, one of the local stores I had to go down to today, opened up. Tempe Camera Repair and other places have opened up. And he's put off other openings until the middle of May. But this disaster, and I don't even know how to talk about open beaches. I don't know how to talk about that. I mean, it's crazy. It's more than crazy. Now,
or parks, like our park opened up.
Yeah, your grandfather had a saying, which I'm going to use. Experience is a dear teacher, but a fool will learn by no other. So are we fools to learn by no other? Are we not to learn from the experience of Hong Kong, which has paid the price and still paying as far as I can see? The South Korea, after finally gets down to 12, party on, and they let open the beaches and go down to Busan. I've been to South Korea. And by the way, they listen to the government. We don't. We've got a good section of our people that say, well, I'm free. Well, I am too, and so are you. But you're not free to harm people. And that's what you're going to do if you go out there and go to beaches, parks, get together with friends. On Easter Sunday, I saw people down my street visiting. Hey, haven't seen you for a long time. Here, cough, cough. Got a
Also,
present
it's
for
been like
you.
a month. I mean,
You may not like it though. Well, they didn't. And so, by the way, we did go back down to 1.03. We bounced up between 1.03 and 1.04 until they started letting the business open. And now we're 1.06. I bet we're probably 1.08 today, maybe 1.09. And what's next? 1.1, 1.3, 1.4, 1.6. Welcome to hell, because that's what's coming our way. I am serious about wanting to go to New Zealand. They got their act together, you know. I said, well, I'll get some shekels together. We'll all go, you know, because I want to be in a place where there's sanity. You know, there are governors, I won't mention their names. There are governors who have a good handle. One governor, well, the governor in California is saying, you get off that beach or I'm coming after you. If you go down to New York City, you don't see people still on the streets. There are no cars. You go down here in Phoenix and there's cars everywhere. People with the windows open. Hey, how you doing? Back in the road again. Yay. Well,
yeah,
watch
like
my numbers go to 1.09, 1.11, 1.3 by next week, the middle of next week. I bet it's going to be 1.3. Now that's disastrous. Now, these people at the state, they don't know my numbers. Most people, by the way, they figured out, don't like fractions. So nobody looks at my post because they don't like numbers.
Yeah.
Most people don't.
They don't understand it. Yeah.
Well, you know, oh, what 1.3? What's that? Oh, death. That's what that is, death. You know, and what it is also, we tried so hard not to overload the hospitals. Well, we did that. Not now. Next 2 weeks, we're going to overload the hospitals. And by the way, if you have to get as far to a ventilator, you're on your way out. Because what's killing people is hypoxia, which is the lack of oxygen. Most people don't know that there's 3 strains. Strains A, strains B, and strain C. Strain A is ancestral. And most of America has strain A. I don't know how that happened. When A got to Wuhan and beyond, it became B. Most of Wuhan and all China is strain B. Strain B mutated outside of China. And strain C was now present, and it's the primary one that's hit Europe. And by the way, we had about 1 to 2 weeks break between the West Coast getting it and the East Coast getting it. Not from China, they got it from Europe. They got the C's, they got the A's, the B's, they got the whole alphabet. And we all know it overwhelmed them.
Hey, Joe.
And I got to tell you, I know we're not supposed to be political, but I am angry. Because in 2018, the pandemic team that Obama put together and effectively used against the Ebola virus. I mean, we were there. See, we were America going to China or going to Africa, and we were there. We were not there for this. We fired the position of the man in China who would have given us early warning. We fired him. That position is gone. So we were at the mercy of what China, who was probably trying to cover up. So we didn't have our man in China saying, hey, watch out. But we knew about this in this country January 3rd. The first case in Wuhan was on the 31st of December. And so we let 6 weeks go by and we did nothing. We should have closed down the whole country to both coasts. We should have done tracking for those people that got through. And the people that were on the airplane, here's what they thought. This is regular flu. This was never a regular flu. Regular flus are rhinoviruses. This was the flu from hell. It was an animal virus. That's what coronaviruses are. And it went from a bat to a pangolin and to a human. And it shouldn't have done that, but it did it. It's one of the rare instances where, yes, a human can get it, but humans, therefore, are not normally able to pass it to another humans. But this one mutated so it could.
Well, and this is a question I actually have because I've heard mixed things about it, is that because we have these, what they're called wet bar animal areas in China where you can like go and purchase weird animals and eat them. And so
right, wet market.
That's what it is. So, you know, so did they contract it before they ate it, or did they contract it because they ate it, or like?
Well, what had to happen, I'll go over this real carefully. The ancestral A, the novel coronavirus, the novel means ancestral. It started the chain. It was probably in the wet market. It wasn't in Wuhan yet. It was in the wet market. Somebody, by the way, went to the wet market and went directly to America. You know, Pasco but didn't collect $200 because A mutated almost immediately to B. And then outside the country mutated to C, so the Europe got it. So we have a sneaky little virus here. This is a SARS virus. SARS should scare people that were around at that time. Well, this is scarier. This is the worst SARS. I mean, it doesn't kill as many as SARS and MERS did. And both MERS, by the way, came from Arabia, is a coronavirus, and so is SARS. It's a coronavirus. And this is also SARS. In fact, they call it SARS version 2 or something like that. CoV2. And by the way, COVID-19 is disease. The virus is the SARS-CoV-2. A lot of people get it confused.
Yeah, it is confusing.
But when you start looking at the strains, remember, I'm a biologist. I'm used to looking at strains and DNA and RNA. And viruses, by the way, are largely RNA. They got the genome of this virus. And I'm sure they're going to get a vaccine, but that's 18 months. And I'm just going to say a word. Any of you listening, be careful what you're listening to, especially from a certain orange man. Was that political? My bad.
No, you know what? I'm going to interrupt really quick.
Do not inject anything into your body that you don't know about.
Well,
Be careful of, I mean, look, I can say this. The people that were going for hydroxychloroquine went to a fish store to try to get the chemical, but it was mixed with other chemicals, I'm sure, and it almost killed the wife, but killed the husband. Don't do that. People have already drunk Lysol. Don't drink Lysol. Don't inject it. No, most people are not going to inject it, but they'll drink it. You know, like don't take Tide Pods and eat those, and don't do. Come on, man.
Well, I will say, Dad, really quick, just because I work in media, and it doesn't need to be political, but people have this viewpoint where they can't trust their media anymore. And I would say that's not true. You can trust your media. You just have to understand that it's bias and that there is an agenda to it. So get your facts from every kind of different media, all the ones you don't like, all the ones you do like, you know, Republican side, Democratic side, whatever, but get them all together and decide for yourself and try and figure out your own
let's talk about that for a second.
The email, who's writing the publication, like, are they left wing, are they right wing? Like, you have to do your own research, but don't automatically believe everything you hear 100%. Like,
well, that should be a given. And I'm glad you're saying that.
It's not a given.
Well, it should be, because
I agree.
You should be taught to make up your own mind. But let me say this.
I don't think we're taught that.
Even Fox News, that used to be pro-Republican, pro-Trump.
Yeah.
You know, they've seen the light. They're not singing the praises anymore.
Well, they're the only ones showing the actual full-length part of any kind of what is it called, like the speeches he's giving or the press conferences.
The briefings.
So most publications are just showing snippets, and they're the ones showing the whole thing. But really what you should do is go to Washington, D.C., like the actual YouTube page, and watch it, not watch it through
I can no longer, YouTube or not, I can't do it anymore. Because I believe in looking at the whole story.
Well, no, but the White House does have the whole story.
There's also a White House. I go to the White House one.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Because when I want to look at it, I want to look at it all. him,
Yeah.
and also Fauci and the others.
Yeah.
And
you get to make your own judgment. And actually, as much as I'm not a Trump fan, sorry, but he didn't actually tell people to drink Lysol, like the actual Lysol. I watched the video. He did say some damaging things, and people took it and ran with it.
No, that's the danger. I agree with you.
That's one of the things that you have to be careful about, the media you're watching and ingesting.
Well, no. Here's the problem. I saw the same thing too.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, because he was looking to the lady, I guess.
Yeah, he was looking at someone.
And say, well, you know, we could probably use UV and maybe stick it up your butt. He didn't say stick it up your butt, but inside.
He said like on your skin or around.
And we can take a look at that. He said, take a look at it. He didn't say, hey,
do it. Yeah. He wasn't like, hey, everyone, you should drink some Lysol.
My son, I think, lost it.
I know. There's a lot of those funny memes going around.
I just think.
Yeah, he did say, take the he did say, take the Lysol and smile, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, Drano, too. Yeah. Actually, yeah. And you know what? Those disinfectants will kill the virus. It'll kill you, but it will kill the virus.
That's true.
You know?
You can't give it to anyone else then, I guess, right?
Right. But the interesting thing about this is, and you pointed out the fact that this virus is very, very different. It's not different, and we've identified this virus a long time ago. So in the 50s, when they first came out with microscopes that could see electronic microscopes, they have been able to identify this in the 50s. Now, what makes this different is the way that it's spreading, right? And that it's the 1 to 4, right?
It hides out. The difference is you are not sick with symptoms, and yet you are spreading this thing, and you are what's called a super spreader. That's dangerous. You don't know who just breathed on you, whether they gave you the virus or not. So we're freaked out because it's like an invisible enemy. You don't know who out there is going to give it to you today. It's scary. It is scary. I'll give it that. And I don't blame people for being scared. But the reaction for some people is, oh, I'm not afraid. Okay, doofuses. You know?
Or I'm not going to wear a mask. Every business.
I can say hell, right?
Now, what kind of mask do you suggest people wearing? So if you are to go out in public, what is I know that you've bought some gas masks and things like that.
Hold on. We're going to entertain you. Yes, we are. Yes. Hold on.
Now you're going to make Dad look crazy.
No, hey. You might as well know who the hell I am, man. Come on. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Oh, no.
He told me he bought this, and I had to. I think they're World War II masks.
Yeah, but a lot of people have bought them, actually.
It's not a bad thing. But I was trying to get his idea. I think in this is his idea about, he's maybe gone the cheapest method because he probably got them out of a surplus store. But there is a certain way of being able to hear you.
I think he got this. This was actually expensive.
All right.
This might be it.
So hold on before I put it on. I want to explain something
demonstration.
Here. I did. Oh, well, of course. Hi.
How you doing?
How your mama doing? All right, look. I am a scientist. I am a teacher, or was a teacher. And I took a look at these little paper masks. I said, yeah, right. Might be good for painting around the house and not getting paint in you.
That's what we have, our painter's masks.
But it's no good. You know, all these masks that I saw in China and the mask here now in the United States. Yeah, good luck, friends.
Oh, I saw people who don't even think we should wear masks. So.
Well, you know what can I say? The dumb shits in this world, what can you do? I mean, come on, I'm not going to defend the dumb shits. Hey, you're a dumb shit, you're a dumb shit. I'm offended. Okay, be offended, I don't care. But I found the Mesler, M-E-S-L-E-R, it's a French company. I found a very good mask, reasonably priced, and has a good reputation. Now, the Messer 300-4 Not dash 4. It's division line 4. It's rated very high, and it has a opening here, opening on the side, so that if you're a soldier, you can still shoot your rifle and still breathe. It has a filter. This is the filter right here. It's packaged because I only use it when I need it. I hadn't used it yet. This filter goes on. Now, get ready, folks. Entertainment time.
We laugh, but Andy, we're like, we don't have this. Dad survives. We all die.
I know.
It's like, this reminds me of like Y2K with all this stuff, but not Y2K, obviously. Yes. Oh.
Luke, I am your father.
Oh my gosh, for a second I was like, is that Nicholas?
Hi there.
Wow, does it have a snorkel on it?
I have an opening here.
Yeah.
I have an opening here and an opening here.
Cool.
I also have an opening here. Now,
this is the BB mask, which means it's good for mustard gas. And it's a serious mask.
How much does one of those cost somebody?
Oh, well, I saw it on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I figured if anybody has it, eBay has it.
Yeah.
And I think I paid about $300 for it, but that was without the mask, which is a thing. So I had to buy. I paid $500, $582 for 10 of these.
Oh wow!
Each one of these only lasts 8 hours, but they're very comfortable. They say that you can go out hiking, whatever like that. And if I ever really need it, I'm covered because I'm not going to get this damn disease. Look, here's an alternative to all this stuff, which is my brother's, which is your uncle's idea. He said 70, 80% are going to get this. Why don't we just go out and find a sick person? And he said, breathe on me, man. And this is called the coronavirus lottery.
Like chicken pox?
Maybe yes, maybe no. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, fuck. Come on. Who wants to play this lottery?
Yeah, but so
maybe I'm dead, maybe I'm alive. Will I be immune? And there's not even proof that you got immunity after you get sick. Great.
Right. But
I get sick. This is my third sickness this week. What?
So this is my question for it though, is how long do you let the economy sink before the economy could bottom out with people just not being able to work?
It already is going to bottom out.
It is bottomed. It is. We're going to be in a recession for sure.
Like a bad recession that no one's seen before, but
okay.
People are going to die, and then what? You're going to be dead during a recession, and what? Who cares? Like you're dead.
So let me give some advice that I think people ought to take, especially people in government. If you own a business, I have a friend who owns a business with 50 people. I won't name it the name or the business. Well, there's several things this person can do. They could all get tested, like with LabCorp, and go to the facility, get tested, but they don't unless you got symptoms, which is stupid. But they could do what FedEx is. FedEx has ID nows in it. You know that? In the major companies or buildings where most of the FedEx people are, and they maybe have 20 people in there, they have an ID now by Abbott Laboratories. I don't know how often they test, but everybody tests on a regular basis. So they know that all the workers there are negative. And there is the least amount of false negatives with the ID now, so I've been told. So you want to know that you're negative. If you've got a business, if you're a nurse or a doctor, how about I want to know that you're not sick? These people that do surgeries that are elected. I said, well, at first I said, well, wear your mask. Oh, mask? What? Mask? What? I said, wear your mask. Really? So I want to know that every single nurse and every single lady in the front and the doctors that do the procedures, I want to know they're okay. Why not for the workers Test them first. However you're going to test them, whether it's ID now, the MIM 2000, or the LabCorp, or whatever. Test them first and have it a company policy. If you're going to work here at Michael's or Tippy Can Repair or whatever, you're going to get tested before you're allowed to come to work. Look, we demand that kids show their vaccination for measles, show your test for COVID before you're allowed to work. Now, get that to be a public policy, and now you're cooking. Don't give the test to the people that are at home like me. I know I'm negative. Don't waste your money on me, but put your money into the people that are out there that have to work, that do need the money. I mean, we all need the money, but get smart. You know, we may not have enough tests to service 327 million people, but we don't have to in the beginning. Eventually, yes. But at least let the Amazon workers know that the people next to them, they're not going to die. Or the meat workers that are now dying in droves at the meat factories.
Yeah.
Test them. Make them go home when you're positive. Come back when you're better. And make sure that you do it bi-weekly. I mean, or, you know, twice a week. You know, and just a little swab. Everybody has to go and get the swab. Make that a thing. Get an ID now and do that. But make sure that at least when you're working, your fellow workers are not going to give it to you. You know, if I want to see my friends or my relatives, get a test first. Then I'll meet you. You know, prove that you're negative before I'll meet you. And that's the point. I want to know that if anybody, you or anybody else, did you get tested? How do you know you're negative? That's a reasonable question to ask. Because you are playing with death here. To sit there and go out irresponsibly on beaches or shopping malls. They got a plan now for shopping malls. And then
also, who goes to shopping malls? Like, we've got stuff online. Like, I just don't think that everyone needs to go into work. Like, teachers are doing stuff online. People are able to work from home. Like, not everyone actually has to be in an office.
Well, and this is interesting. And this is because the world of yesterday is gone. Mm-hmm. I've discovered that it's pretty cool to have Instacart deliver my groceries.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I go out there like a crazy man spraying it down with Lysol, but I do that because I don't want the damn virus to hit my kids or me or my wife. Mm-hmm. I love them all, and I love you guys, and I don't want you guys in harm's way. So get sparklets from the delivery guy, spray down the bottles. You look silly, but do it anyway. You know, so that I know that virus ain't getting inside this house. You know, I'll go out and wear this funny mask all I want because I don't give a. What's that?
A root
okay. I don't care what you think of me. My family's going to be safe, and this baby's going to last 2 years. By the way, let's get it straight. 2 damn years. We've only been in this a month and a half, or whatever.
Well, I know when people are freaking out. They're like, "Oh, I need to go outside and go to the beach." It's like, no, you don't actually.
Here's what you can do. The cars are fairly safe. Take your family in a car and go nowhere. I mean, when I mean nowhere, go driving. You can go 100 miles.
Yeah.
Go out in the middle of the desert. Hello, bushes.
Well, hello, not everyone gets to live in the desert, but yes.
Or wherever.
Yeah.
Go to a place where other people are. Go to a forest where nobody's at. Make sure nobody's at. Look to see who's parked in the parking lot. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't have to go out and hike with one of these, but I can because this is a real good mask. And it doesn't heat up like it also doesn't fog up. And these filters are like, whoa, good. These are really good filters.
Dad, you should be a spokesperson for this.
Well, you know what? The Messler 300. Hi. Get yours today.
So what do you think about some of these other masks? So there's the M, whatever it is. There's the paper mask.
There's the N95. The N95 is probably one of the better cheapy masks.
That's what they all say you should have.
You know, that's better than, wearing a sock over you. Oh!
I kind of like the bandana, though.
So here's what somebody told me. Somebody told me that it will help.
I took off my blanket and put it around my mouth. Hey!
So somebody
told me. Here's my shirt!
Hey, it's better than nothing.
Well, that's what I was. So somebody told me
Not much.
It helps you from sending it to other people, but it doesn't do it reverse. Or is that?
Yeah, pretty much you're screwed. Yeah, I know.
It sounds like either way.
And also, got to remember that you may have it over your nose and mouth, but you can get this in the eyes because it's aerosol. Right. So guess what? With this, I'm not going to get it in the eyes.
Oh, that's actually really scary.
Yeah, that's a crazy mask.
No. I felt, get my little Halloween costume robe, and go around and say, "Luke, I am your father."
I will say it makes, because I do go to the grocery store, but I do Trader Joe's because they take it more serious and they're like wiping it down all the time. The aisles, they're making sure no one's next to each other. But I will say that, except yesterday's experience, I can't focus, I can't see. And I just kind of hate it. And then I get home and I'm like, man, I forgot all that stuff I was supposed to get. Because I don't want to look at my phone. I don't want to, the thing is like this. And I'm trying to figure it out.
Go to grocery stores anymore.
I know.
Because the second wave is hitting. And this is going to be worse. I'm going to tell you why it's going to be worse. Because
I know why. I live in Tennessee.
The percentages are going to be up there around 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.6. Well, but that's of more people. That means more deaths. Once you've got a critical mass of people out there, and then you have the same percentage, that means more people. Look, you want to hear something funny? I did something with New York City, or state actually. And at one point in time, back when we were about 1.09, they were 1.09. And they just have a whole lot of people dying and people who got total cases. But their stats were still the same. Now, look, Easter came to everybody. And all the people who decided that mama or grandma has to be visited,
well, look, it's a religious event, so people are going to church.
No, I think it wasn't religious. It was, I miss my parents. I miss my kids. And, I dig that. I dig it. I miss you guys. But you ain't coming over my house, and I'm not coming over your house until this thing is dealt with.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, we almost had it dealt with here in the state. And by the way, when we were 1.01, so was California with more people.
Yeah.
And my hat's off to Cuomo and also what's his face in California.
Mm-hmm.
But my hat's not off to Georgia or Florida or Iowa. Vote these people out.
Dad, no more political.
Hi. I'm playing with them.
It's okay. It's okay.
I mean,
everybody has a viewpoint, and this is an opinion. That's okay, and I get it.
Well, I feel like
except
it's more
I'm
than
right.
an opinion.
Except I'm right.
Except for he's right.
I mean, I will say it is nerve-wracking to yesterday I had to go to Trader Joe's. There were people that definitely weren't keeping a distance and they were walking close to us. Yeah. And I was like, why?
We're talking about the virus. Wait, hold on. Come here. We have a little visitor here. Say hi.
Hi.
What do you think of coronavirus?
That Trump should be voted out?
No, stop.
No. I said, what do you think of coronavirus?
Oh, I think Trump.
No, coronavirus. Do you like coronavirus? Is it your buddy?
No.
All right, thank you.
Somebody's been listening to it a lot.
He said Trump's a total doofus. I didn't say it. He did.
Where did he get that from?
I have no idea.
So just to let everybody know who's watching this now, down to 2 people now. All 2 of you
win.
This is my
prize.
Other people will see it, but that's my what was that, brother? So it's my little brother.
What is that? What is that thing?
I was making sure it wasn't a girl, not a Remy.
Keeps on ticking, boy. I tell you what. Yeah. Keep pumping those kids out every decade or so,
You do. I was thinking you just missed one.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, look, another kid.
You missed the 90s.
You missed the 90s.
Or did you miss?
Keep quiet or I hit you with my cane. Hey,
no, Nicholas is born in 2001.
2001.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because he's younger than Shannon. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
No, look, seriously, there may be only 2 people here, but it's mostly you guys, that mean, it's good that we do this because this is like a phone overheating.
People will see this later. People always view these later.
Mom said she was going to watch it later.
Yeah, so people will view this later. And the biggest thing for me is that how can I help? And I thought about this. I have a forum to be able to give information, factual information. And granted, some of it's opinion, some of it's political opinion. But you've given a lot of factual data about the virus, about the spread of the virus. And that was the biggest key thing that I know that people need to hear about. It's something that's relevant. You have been tracking this. You do have stories you've read about. And also you're a science teacher. So and I know that any of my friends that are science teachers have taken this extremely serious because they understand the latitude on this.
I think Dad is, will we lose Dad?
No, he's there. Is he
no, he's frozen.
He's frozen. He may not come back. See, that's...
Oh, we lost him.
He's back.
Oh, he's back.
Hello again.
All right. My phone was overheating. Go figure.
What do you have?
It says phone overheating. It will cut off in 20 seconds, so I'll see you in 20 seconds.
Oh.
Well, we've only got 10 minutes left anyways.
Yeah, we have 10 minutes left. So.
Or 9 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, because I have to get back to the office and, to the job. So I do have just anybody who is watching, we are doing another live stream tonight on Reviewers Table. So all one person that just heard this. We are going to have some really awesome people. So I have Tyson on. I have Purposely Bearded on. So it's going to be a really fun time tonight. Yeah. So we do a reviewers table every Friday not every Friday, every other Friday. And today's an exception because we felt that there was some cool things to talk about bearded stuff. But
I'm sorry, I forgot my beard.
Yeah, most people forget their beards that are my family members. They're all like, when are you going to cut that thing? Mom, specifically, anytime I see her.
I know.
So that is something. So for bearded guys that are watching this, there are the biggest debate was about he disappeared again.
Dad might have told you to cut your beard off too, so it was a good thing he
no, you missed my white beard. I was Grandpa Jones.
Did it look like Andy's?
Oh, it looked like some old fart.
No comment.
Andy, are you not shaving? I mean, I get that you have this beard thing, but is it also because it hurts to shave, or like?
No, it doesn't hurt. I just, you know what? The big thing right now is that I'm just being quarantine beard.
Yeah.
There's no place to go. Like, I like to go get mine shaped from some place.
Don't go to that last place.
Right. That's the whole thing is that I like to go get it shaped from places that actually can do it. Because when I try to do it, I butcher it. So I'm always
that last guy really butchered it.
Yeah, he cut me too. I cut you with my razors.
Oh, that's terrible.
Like it was like on my lips and it was horrible. It was pretty bad.
Was it his first time cutting?
How does that even happen? How is he?
Oh, he's like 2. I don't know.
Oh.
There's 2 dads. We had to take a screenshot.
Hi.
Wait, are you on your computer on one and then your phone on the other?
No, I just have my phone.
Oh, there we go.
But it's overheating.
Yeah, I am.
Yay, I hate this Samsung 8. Samsung 7 was much better.
They said it was much better.
You know what I hate about this phone? Okay, phone overheating. You're going to go bye-bye again.
Dad, you need to get an iPhone.
That's blasphemy.
Catch up with the times, people. Catch up with the time.
I know. Even like I'm sending one to Granny so that she has an iPhone.
I'm gonna be gone in about 10.
So I believe that Mom is the only one that's on right now, and she said, "Cut your beard, son."
She also was like, "Stick to the facts. Stop with your political agenda." Oh yeah, and she did. She said, "Mom says cut the beard."
Yep.
Oh, we're losing Dad. Well, we should wrap it up so that Dad.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for everyone who did join. I know that some of it was. So BAM actually. So just to give you a sense of this, BAM actually works for the CDC.
Oh, no way.
So
It would
yeah,
have been cool to have him talk about.
yeah,
something.
I've had him on a couple times.
Talking about COVID.
A little bit. He can't talk about much because he's he's an employee. But he has a lot of facts, so that's the reason why I think that like about halfway through he's like, well, okay, I think I'm going to disappear now.
Gotcha.
I'm on the floor and my phone overheating again. Jesus, what's wrong with this?
Don't worry about it.
That's okay, Dad. We're gonna wrap it up anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. So thank you for coming on, Dad. We appreciate it.
Yes.
A lot of good facts, a lot of good information. And
Vote them out. Vote them out.
Stop it.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.